I'm headed to the happiest place on earth. Well, it was for me for many years as I watched a lot of baseball games here at this property. Today I return to talk about a few of my friends in the hobby and do a video response for 4 great channels. So please stick around. I think you're going to have a great time. Today is a beautiful day because we're talking baseball. Welcome back to another video, guys. Today I got something really special lined up. I'm at Disney's ESPN Wide World of Sports Stadium, which used to be called Cracker Jack Stadium and then Champion Stadium, but this place is supposed to be magical, right? Well, I witnessed magic here many times. I've attended many spring training games here when the Atlanta Braves used to play, and my favorite spot was sitting right out there by the flags, right there on the grass with me and my wife. We were taking games. I've attended World Baseball Classic games here in the first season they had it, 2006. I've watched many legends play here, like Albert Pujols, David Ortiz. I have some great photos from that time. I have some special memories here, and I'm adding to those special memories today. What I'm doing today is 4 video responses for 4 great channels, and I'm going to start with Drew, a vintage legacy. Drew is asking us to talk about a franchise player. That's someone who only played for one team. And if you're familiar with Drew's channel, then you probably have heard the story of this extraordinary connection he had with a player through TTM, that's through the mail autograph. And it's from that experience and him sharing it with us that inspired me to talk about this one player. And that former ball player I'm talking about is Carl Erskine. Now, Carl Erskine meets the qualifications to be mentioned in this video as a franchise player, being that he played with the Brooklyn Dodgers his whole career. But it's really his accomplishments off the field that inspired me to do this video about him. One of the first times I connected with Drew was through an interview I'd done with Theo, Clemente Collector, on his Beyond the Cards segment. Drew left a comment saying that he was going to subscribe to my channel, and he had agreed with something I said in that interview. And that's how much I like the Ted Williams Card Company sets that came out in the early 90s in 1993, 1994. So I didn't think anyone really cared about those sets. But being that Drew is someone that's really respected in the hobby, in the community, giving his seal of approval on that, just made me feel really good. I was just really happy to hear that he also enjoyed that set. And I have that set with me today in my nice yellow binder. Shout out to Pepino Man and G's Mikey. And when you start in 1993, right away in the second page, Carl Erskine is featured there for the Brooklyn Dodgers. Now this autograph card, I just recently got this, and that's actually thanks to Drew. The way it went down is Drew called me one day. And the first time I talked to Drew on the phone, it was really ironic because he called me on a Saturday afternoon and I was in Sarasota filming my Norman Rockwell, the rookie video. And I had been thinking about Drew because if you're familiar with his older videos, he would have a Norman Rockwell painting over his shoulder there during his videos in his card room. So I thought about him, and sure enough, he calls me. And that led to us talking a few times on the phone. And during one of our conversations, Carl Erskine came up. And it was really cool to hear about his experience with Carl Erskine. And in that talk, I told him, man, it would be cool to get that Ted Williams card autographed by Carl Erskine. And, Drew was all for it, of course. He's like, you should write to him, write to Carl Erskine, while you can. And I thought, well, yeah, that would be nice, but I'm so particular about my autographs. I just want a nice, crisp signature. Look at that. What a beautiful signature that Carl Erskine has. So I went out and got this card. I was content in getting that. So that's why I chose Carl Erskine. But the story doesn't end there. If you've watched Drew's latest video, he tells a story about how he has a regret in the hobby, how he had an opportunity to get someone's autograph and he didn't. He ended up buying a box of Flair cards. I think from that experience, it has helped Drew to give others advice about the hobby or what to really consider, down the line, what kind of collection you want to have and the memories tied to it. So because of that, Drew inspired me to go ahead and write to Carl Erskine. And Drew was right. I wrote to Mr. Erskine. I was hoping I would get a return. Anytime would be great, but if I could get it by the deadline of this video response contest, it would be great. And everything worked out great because I just got the Carl Erskine return in the mail. They see Indianapolis, Indiana. I'm going to get to open this on camera and celebrate this moment. Right. Oh man, this looks great. There it is. Carl Erskine. Signature still looks pretty good. I'm so excited to get this. This is my first TTM in over 30 years. I used to do it as a child, and then of course, you know, life happens. And it's nice to get back into it. And the first guy to get is Carl Erskine, who's such a special guy. And being that it was an encouragement from my friend Drew, like I'm thrilled to do this. Like I mentioned earlier, it's the beyond the field things that he did. Carl Erskine is a guy who maybe as a child I would have said, hey, I want to pitch like him. I want to play baseball like Carl Erskine. But as a man now with a family, you know, I think of things like how he treated others. You know, there's stories of how he treated Jackie Robinson, and when he first came in the league, and how Jackie and Rachel was so grateful to how Carl treated him like he treated everybody. And that's what we want at the end of the day, right? So to be a guy like Carl Erskine, to be a husband like him, be married that long, committed to your wife, and to be a great dad to his children. If you go read about what he's done with his son Jimmy, it's a beautiful story. It's led him to do other things with Special Olympics, FCA, which is the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. He's done it all, on the field, off the field. Remarkable life. And he's still doing it. He's still going. There's a documentary that has been done about him. I want to check that out. And then this year, he won the Buck O'Neil Lifetime Achievement Award for the Hall of Fame. It's well deserved. Carl Erskine, just a great guy, truly a special person. And I'm so thrilled that he's the first autograph I've gotten through the mail now in this stage of my life. It's going to be a blast getting back into it, but I'll always remember this as the first one that set it off. And it's thanks to an encouragement of a friend here in the hobby, Drew, of Vintage Legacy. So thank you, Drew. Thank you, Mr. Erskine, for replying so fast. This has been great. So that whole video response for Drew is also another video response for Dan over at Old Sarge Collects. Dan wants us to talk about a card that we got in our collection that was inspired by another channel to get it. So Drew inspired me to go after Carl Erskine and set off this TTM part of my collecting experience. So Dan, that is my entry into your video response. I wanted to shout you out. I'm going to be binge watching your channel like crazy. There's a lot of great videos that I'm intrigued, and I can't wait to catch up on a bunch of them. If you've checked out Drew's card room tour, I'm sure you have. He's gotten like probably 10,000 views already on it. It's awesome. That card room is exactly what I would love to have someday. And speaking of room tours and displays, I used to have a pretty cool one as a kid. You know, I had all my baseball stuff out, posters on the wall, all that. Then I got too cool. You know, when I was a teenager, I took all that stuff down, and you wouldn't even know I really collected, right? Because friends were coming over, and doing baseball cards was considered like a kid thing. I was kind of ashamed of it, so I put everything in my closet. But I only had one thing on display, and it's a card that I was very proud of. And this is another video response. This is going to be for John, a Wade Boggs fan. He wants us to show a card that's special in our collection, like our favorite card, or just a card that would be like your last one to get rid of, and one that you just can't part with, right? So this card here, again, going back to TTM, this was the first card I got through the mail back in like 1992. So it's been over 30 years that I've had this card in my collection. And as I mentioned, I didn't have anything displayed in my room, but I did have this one card out because I was so proud to have it, because I was able to obtain it through the mail. And for a kid, a baseball fan back then, what a thrill, right? And that player is Andre Dawson. So I had this card display and this holder here that just sat there on my desk. So anyone that would go into my room would ask about it, and they thought it was weird that I was into baseball cards and autographs, but Andre Dawson, the Hawk, was my first one. It's been with me, you know, and it's survived for over 30 years. I've been through a lot. My collection has come and gone, but this card has remained. So there's a lot of special memories tied to this. It's been through a lot, and it's still here with me. And you know, It might just be a regular 1991 Upper Deck signed card. I'm sure there are many out there. It's a great photo, and who doesn't have an Andre Dawson autograph, right? I mean, the guy signs like crazy, which is great, and his autograph still looks the same all these years later. But this one has a really special meaning to me. I collect, you know, for the experience, the sentimental value of it. I'm hoping this card will stay with me forever. That 30 years from now, I'll have this one to talk about, as well as the Carl Erskine that I've already shown. So this will be displayed behind me in my videos that I do indoors whenever I do those, and the Carl Erskine should be there right alongside it as two very special cards. First TTM as a kid, and then the Carl Erskine first TTM as an adult. So that's my special card, John. Thanks for doing the contest. Everyone is familiar with John, Wade Boggs fan. I grew up a huge Wade Boggs fan. He was the greatest hitter of my youth. So I appreciate you doing this and giving me an opportunity to talk about this really special card. And the fourth video response is for Doug over at Don't Talk to Robots. It's a channel I just subscribed to recently. Another one that I'll be binge watching a lot of videos of. And Doug's doing his Red October contest. He wants us to show at least 5 red cards. And I love this contest because it gave me an opportunity to go through my collection and look for those red cards. And the first one that I came across was actually a tie-in back to Drew again. I talked about Drew's latest video and how he had a regret. Well, the player that he was talking about that he should have met and gotten an autograph was Warren Spahn. And I do have a Warren Spahn autograph that has a red background. Now, I didn't meet Warren Spahn in person. I do have one of his top certified autographs that was out of 2001 archives. As you can see there, out of the archives, it's got the sticker in the back, top sticker, and there's the Warren Spahn autograph. It's a beautiful card of the 52 Topps reprint with the red background. So that's the first one. Now the next couple, I'm going back to the binder, my Ted Williams card company, and I'm gonna go to the back. In 1994, that was his second and final year of doing the sets. Ted Williams had these, he actually had parallels, and they were red foil parallels. Okay, so for example, this card would come with like a golden brownish border, but you see here it's got the red on the Ted Williams card. And in that set, I got the red foil parallels of the Roger Maris etched in stone. These are beautiful cards. What I like about this card is on the back it says a hero's welcome, and it talks about how Roger Maris became more appreciated later on after he left baseball. He really didn't have a connection with the Yankees for many years, but then they retired his number, put a plaque out in Monument Park, and then he was invited to Yankee Stadium, and he went and made the relationship better. And what that reminded me of was Bill Buckner with the Red Sox. For many years, Bill Buckner couldn't even go near Boston, but after they won a championship or 2 or 3, things got better, right? He was invited for different ceremonies. He got a standing ovation at Fenway Park. And the cards I want to show is not Bill Buckner, but it's guys who have won championships with the Red Sox. Being that this is Red October, some of my greatest memories in baseball are in October now, thankfully. The first one I want to show is this 1998 Donruss Signature Series of Orlando Cabrera. This is the red foil parallel. Now with Orlando Cabrera, our guy was Nomar Garciaparra. He was one of the greatest shortstops in the league, but he just didn't fit. I hated when they traded him by the trade deadline in 2004, but then brought in Cabrera, and Cabrera was the exact thing they needed. He was a little spark plug. He just kept the atmosphere the way it was supposed to be, with that cowboy up mentality, the idiots, whatever you want to call it. Cabrera was the right guy for that, and he was able to be part of that winning team. So there's my red foil card. And then a few years later, they won again, and I couldn't believe it. I mean, so many people went all their life not seeing the championship, and here I am seeing the second one for the Red Sox. And the guy that was a star in that World Series in 2007 was Mike Lowe. He was the World Series MVP. And Lowe was such a solid player. Defensively, offensively, I really like watching him. He was a really great guy, true leader. And again, that's his foil, red foil card out of the same set, the 98 Donruss Signature Series. And the last one, I'm gonna go back to the Ted Williams set. There was a 500 club that Ted was really proud of being a part of. So this was all the players that he featured as part of the 500 home run club. We got Hank Aaron, Reggie Jackson, Killebrew, all the top guys. And he had one here that's a nice red foil card that I want to show. And that is Mike Schmidt. You see the red foil there on the bottom? That's the red parallel. Of course, he plays for the Phillies, who have red in their uniform. And another reason I wanted to end with the Mike Schmidt is Doug wanted us to shout out a channel that has less than 500 subscribers. And being that Mike Schmidt played for the Ohio University Bobcats, graduate of 1971, they're out of the Mid-American Conference. So the channel I'm shouting out is Mac Wax Stacks. Mac standing for Mid-American Conference, and that's BK. Go check him out. He has somewhere in the 55 to 60 subscribers count as of now. You're not going to regret it. He has one of the greatest intros. I always get a kick out of it.
Hello. Hi.
Mac Wax Stacks.
So that does it. 4 video responses for 4 great channels. If you happen to not be so familiar with any of those guys, definitely go check them out. I've had a blast talking about these experiences and these cards here at this place where I have so many great memories. So it couldn't get better than this. For Wide World of Sports, today was a beautiful day because we were talking baseball. If you've gotten this far into the video, I want to say thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Coming from the happiest place on earth and going down memory lane.